pretty soon. Let's start with the reactions. This came from over the weekend and even some of it, of course, today. Let's start with Deion Sanders. Colorado, of course, was a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, but he goes, I don't care about different teams moving. We are trying to win. I don't care where we play. I don't care what conference, who we're playing against. We're trying to win. All this is about money. You know that it's about a bag. And then he went on to say a little bit more about that. Everybody's chasing a bag, and then you get mad at the players when they chase it. How did the grown-ups get mad at the players when they chase it, when the colleges are chasing it? Regarding Washington, Oregon leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten, yeah, the same team who was actually talking about us, right? Woo! Oh, Lord, that was good. So there's Deion. We'll have more here as we try to go rapid fire here in this opening segment.
Well, I do think one of the things, and I asked Linda Livingstone about this, and she did answer it fairly directly, although not knowing exactly what the temperature in the water would be, is, look, if you're right now trying to get Congress to regulate your athletes and not even so, and give you an antitrust exemption and do all these favors for you, yet you're doing all these things without the athletes in mind at all, what does that say? You know, what's the look? How do you sell that moving forward if everybody's moving regardless of what this means? And eventually the other thing about this is that there's going to be things not related to football and men's basketball and probably women's basketball, but not related to that is going to have to get cleaned up here, because this is going to be a logistical nightmare for everybody when it comes to Olympic sports and everything else. That's just going to happen. That's going to be, profit losses and all these different things because of that. So they're going to have to clean it up on the back end anyway. And because they don't have any real leadership at the top of college football, because they don't really have a plan to do anything, they're just kind of reacting constantly. This is what we're going to get. And, yeah, we shouldn't chastise the players for wanting a piece of when you see ever-growing money. And I think that's part of the problem when people get mad at the players for getting money. They try to apply what it was like when they were in college. And that could have been in the 70s when Barry Switzer told us he was making $38,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, when that $38,000 turns into $3.8 million, turns into $7.8 million, turns into probably $10 million a year for a coach, and each college is going to get $40 to $80 million a year from a TV company, then you start going, well, what money are you trying to save here from me?
Well, that's one of the reaction there I saw were some athletes from the Pac-12 about their travel. They went to certain schools, softball, etc., and what their concerns are, and there will be some sort of, I guess you could say, change in the market on how that is viewed, or maybe there will be separate conferences when it comes to other sports outside of perhaps football, and even though who knows what happens with men's basketball. So that's Deion. Now let's go to Jedd Fisch, Arizona football coach. Now it's an opportunity to recruit nationally. It's an opportunity for us to really put a footprint in Texas. I recruited Florida my whole life. Every time I ever coached at a college program, coaching at Florida, going to Florida, and then being able to recruit Florida. Now we're playing Central Florida in the future. Will be great. Then, of course, I love the idea of bringing West Coast teams to the East, and we're also going to spend a lot of time focused on Southern Cal and Arizona. We always have, but our focus right now is the Pac-12.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be. It's where they're playing in the upcoming year, and they do have to deal with that. That's right in front of them, and hopefully exit that not only gracefully but successfully in those 4 cases. But yeah, I mean, you do also have to start looking at the future and realizing that when you're going out there with recruiting pitches, that it's a different ball game than the one you've been playing. And I know, Kenny Dillingham, for example, is brand new, so to speak, as far as the head coaching role goes. But you're very aware of your history and what you've been doing, but now you've got to be very aware of what you don't know and the things that you do know and how you can put those together and really get a nice jump start on what this new landscape is going to look like. So I've seen the Arizona State reactions over the weekend. I saw now some Arizona reactions, and they seem fired up and ready to attack Texas, ready to attack Florida, like you would want your football staffs to react, rather than maybe like some of the other leadership has acted poo-pooing the ideas or saying they're not going certain places and things like that. The coaches have to have a different mindset, and that's clear by that. And I'm sure they are in many ways. Like, it is bittersweet, but I think also the fact that you do have this new landscape and these new opportunities, I do think that's got to be exciting, especially for recruiters.
All right, Arizona State's Kenny Dillingham. Perhaps maybe the only one that appears on your campus, but here's what he said. I definitely think it allows us to go into different homes that maybe didn't want to come play for us because the region we would have played away games now, traveling to Texas, traveling to Oklahoma. We need to recruit Oklahoma now. That's a place that in my past, I'd find guys out of it when I was at Memphis. Also, we have get a little bit more aggressive in that region of the country, but make no beans about it. We're going to recruit Arizona. We still have to recruit California. If we look at where we need to recruit, I think we're recruiting right now is the staple. And maybe we have the opportunity to recruit a few more in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana area region, and we'll take advantage of that. Now, Craig mentioned that not everybody was hugs and kisses. Ray Anderson, the Arizona State AD, this is Brett McMurphy with a quote from Ray Anderson on the move to the Big 12. We know President Crow went through broken glass and hot coals to get to this. I promise I'm not going to Morgantown. I'm going to sign that to Deputy AD Gene Boyd. He can go to Morgantown, but send me to Texas in the rivalry with Arizona and starting a new one with Brigham Young, Utah, BYU, Utah, and Colorado. Now, I don't think you could even say, well, wait a minute, you might have misunderstood the context. There's nothing there that you could have misunderstood. He made it clear. In reaction to that, Ren Baker, who has been on this show, who is the AD at West Virginia, there are two kinds of people in the world, people who love West Virginia and people who haven't been there. Hail WV.
Well, even if Ray Anderson was kidding, even if that, and that is being super generous on my part, even if he was kidding, you don't get to make the joke. You don't get to say it because guess what? All of your freaking softball players have to go there, man. Everybody else has to slog through it, and you are getting paid more than almost everybody there, but maybe your head football coach and basketball coach. So if you're one of the top 5 highest paid employees of the university and you can't slog your way to Morgantown, tough crap, buddy. I mean, that is one of those things that is, it should become abundantly clear to people who have watched this process. Craig and I talk about this a lot. During the Colorado week, the disconnect between the people making these decisions and the people who have to suffer through it is so great that the people making these decisions have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's very clear there's a lot of Pac-12 leaders or soon-to-be ex-leaders or whatever you want to, label them as that still don't quite get it. And Ray Anderson's right near at the top of the list, especially with all the things we've continued to learn about that Pac deal and all the different things that have been reported. I mean, what's real is that he and 3 other schools are going to the Big 12, and whether he likes it or not, they are going to Morgantown. And you know what? If he don't want to be there, his loss. A lot of people have gone to Morgantown and come back with nothing but rave reviews about, the location and just the atmosphere for football and basketball and the fan bases and the beauty of the, nature and all of those types of things. I've heard a lot of great things. Ray Anderson clearly, lives in a little bit of a different world where he still feels he's above things. You think this last week would have brought him to his knees a little bit. Would have been a little bit of a wake-up call, but I guess just people with huge egos or narcissists or whatever, just take a little while longer to learn, and he'll learn. But, you would have thought last week would have been a kind of a wake-up call. So unnecessary shot. I don't think there was any joking in there. And I like that Ren Baker popped back, big, I think deal for West Virginia to be able to pop back off and have some people rally around them as well that saw that and like, hey, man, I like Morgantown. Morgantown's a great place. It's a good location, all of that. So definitely had some people come to their defense. Not that they needed it by any means. But, yeah, just a dumb comment. And look, dude, you're not in the Pac-12 for much longer. You better get ready to your, to get ready for your new surroundings. Although who knows if he's going to be around for those at the rate that he's going at this point.
All right, so there's that. And so